Join us in half a day. Welcome to another edition of Island History. Today we begin on the beautiful shores of Agat, one of two landing sites for the U.S. military at the end of World War II. Today we're going to take you onto Naval Magazine and tell you about some of the history that happened at the end of World War II. So stay tuned for Fena Cave. So we're here at Fena Cave. With me is Mr. Tony Ramirez. He is the historian for the Guam Department of Parks and Recreation. Half a day, Tony, welcome.
Oh, half a day, sir, yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. And what can you tell us about the land that we're on and the site we're at here?
Well, today this place is called Naval Magazine. It's mostly known today by the modern generation as Naval Magazine. But in the pre-war days, and for the people that actually live in the villages of Agat-Santa, they still maintain the traditional nameplates of this area. Now, the word Fena comes from the Chamorro word Fena. Fena in Chamorro, Fena in English. And I'm assuming that the caves that we are now looking at, or will be entering, are named the Fena Cave or Fena Cave, simply because of the nameplace that is located right here, including the lake area, which is called Fena Lake, and towards Fena. And this place is just very abundant. If you talk to the elders, because of the tributaries, the rivers, the hillsides from Taros to Yam.
What can you tell us about the more recent, like World War II history and what happened here?
Well, in the World War II history, and this is a pivotal point of why we're here today, we are now standing adjacent to the Fena Cave, where the World War II massacre of whereby 37 Chamorros were killed here, the atrocities that were committed here during World War II by the Japanese forces. People have to remember that when you're talking about World War II history, there are three sides to the story. And the more, or maybe the most well-documented side of the World War II story, of course, are the two sides that fought the war, the American side and the Japanese side. But the Chamorro side of World War II is just more recently being recorded through oral histories by the elders who went through that period of the war. Now remember, we are in 2014, so therefore if a Chamorro that was born in 1930, he would have been 11 at the outbreak of the war, would have been 14 in the recapture of Guam by the American forces. So you almost have to go one decade back again to have that vivid, clear memory of who these elders are really that died here. Most of them were born in the 1920s, that area, because they were in their youth, also early adulthood, that died in this site. Nafanmoging itay ko na minagong niya asay na, zay timamatay na minala ko paninina, so fanyagi minagong. In English, it's may they rest in peace. May eternal light shine upon them, and may they rest in peace. In Chamorro, a cave is, or the word cave is lidzang. Therefore, this is lidzang Fena. A lot of the entry here is kind of closed because of what had happened during the post-war period. Where the cave leads further in. This would have been too small for a large number of the 37 that were assumed to have been massacred here. Such sites as this, okay, when it comes to history of any people really, a tragic event occurs, such as this. You know, these are like sacred grounds, because this is the last place of their ancestors. This is where they died. And to Chamorros, when death is not natural, in this case during the war, there's that eternal spirit that they really believe that lives on and always has to be at peace because the death is not natural. That's why the Chamorros come here. People of Guam are grateful that the U.S. Navy opened up this area during July 19th in cooperation with the village mayor of Agat, currently now Mayor Tayama, and Vice Mayor Quintanilla, who works very closely and diligently with the command to have the ceremony held here, because a bus tour comes in here and brings the people to where the event occurred.
So we'll end here today back in one of Agat's Catholic cemeteries. And Tony, please tell us a little bit about what we have behind us here.
Well, recently, Tim, the village of Agat has done, and with the mayor and the vice mayor, Tayama and Kantiniza, is to now commemorate the Fena Massacre memorial here at this cemetery, where they are laid to rest during World War II. Was one of the major invasion sites of the American forces back in 1944. And the reason why they have selected this area, because through oral histories, it was said and related that the remains of those who died of the Fena Massacre were brought here and entombed where this cross now stands today.
Tony, thank you so much for joining us today. Very educational.
Yeah, and thank you, Tim, for always allowing us, especially the government of Guam and the Department of Parks and Recreation, to educate people about the history of Guam. My take on this is because my strength really is in oral history, is to relate what our ancestors have said about the entire event. So, thank you. Oh,
Yes,
thank you so much.
So for Island History, until next time, adios.
Adios.